In Mexico, the gospel is going forth. We live here in what is known as the Huasteca region in Mexico. This is a beautiful area overlapping into different microclimates of desert, mountains, and jungles, a vast area of rich culture and different indigenous people groups that speak Pame, Tenec, Nahuatl, and Spanish. Unfortunately, many think that this area is already reached for the gospel, but there is much lostness, much darkness, and much work still to do. Voice of the Martyrs sums it up well when they said, "This region in Mexico is dubbed the Circle of Silence because fewer than 1% of its residents identify as biblical followers of Christ. There's a strong culture of Christo-paganism and a syncretic blend of ancient pagan practices. It is a welcoming place for business and tourism, but Christians are targeted and attacked. Pray for God to open doors for pastors and missionaries choosing to minister in central Mexico." And according to opendoors.org, Mexico routinely ranks in the top 50 for Christian persecution each year. They go on to say, in indigenous communities, those who decide to abandon ancestral and traditional beliefs to follow Jesus face ostracism, fines, incarceration, and forced displacement. We have moved here as missionaries to serve and to help push back the darkness by preaching the word and serving alongside healthy churches here that preach a true biblical gospel. Unfortunately, there are many here who are led astray into worshiping idols instead of the one true living God. They are deep into demonic mysticism associating with a dangerous movement called the New Apostolic Reformation. This is a movement that teaches godless mysticism that Christ is not head of the church. It is based on manipulating people to give glory to power-hungry men instead of Christ. Despite this darkness, the true gospel advances. The true church advances. We are thankful to serve alongside Primero Iglesia Bautista Emmanuel Reformada, partnering and serving alongside this Christ-centered confessional church to plant churches in villages and communities in the darkest areas where there are no churches and no gospel preaching, but where the light of the gospel can shine the brightest. Colossians 1:13 and 14. He has delivered us from the domain of darkness and transferred us to the kingdom of his beloved Son, in whom we have redemption, the forgiveness of sins. In the Huasteca, the gospel is going forth. We are going because Christ saves sinners, because Christ is King, because Christ is worth it. We are going because we are sent. Please pray that the gospel would continue to advance, and we will see fruit from our evangelism. Please pray that more churches would be planted in the many villages here that have no gospel. Please pray that there will be a true reformation of biblical churches and many who are deceived with mysticism and idolatry to repent and come to a saving knowledge of Christ. Please pray that we can be obedient and steadfast while proclaiming the light in the darkness.